Where there is no hope, people will perish. Those who live in generational poverty have no hope. They tend to only live for the day, not only in unlawful ways, but for their everyday lifestyle. James 1 tells us that pure religion in the eyes of God means taking care of the widows and orphans in distress. Orphans can not only just be kids who don't have parents, but who are fatherless. If we want to live out our religion, we must help those kids being born into generational poverty. Many of those that we work with have 7 kids in a family, and most of them do not know their father. My family has helped start a ministry to help those who live in generational poverty. There are 3 sources that we have used over the years, and I will use these today. Many of the people who have helped us don't understand poverty. They give handouts and don't build relationships. I will attempt to prove to you that it is better to help those in need and not just a solution. Let's look at poverty. Generational poverty is in every city in America. The thinking of those in poverty is different than the thinking of the middle class. Dr. Ruby Pine, who has written several books on generational poverty, explains how the thinking is different for those in poverty. In poverty, it is survival, relationship, and entertainment. Survival is pretty easy to understand. Many times they are just living day to day. Relationships are very important to them. When one tries to break out of the lifestyle, they see it as abandonment. Entertainment is a driving force because their lives can be very stressful and they endorse in cheap entertainment. In the middle class, money is meant to be managed, but in poverty, the rule is if you have money, spend it. The small amount of money they have will not help them get out of poverty, so they spend it on pleasure. Once you understand some of the basics of poverty, you can move on to helping them. Many of the ways to help them in poverty hurts them. The book, When Helping Hurts, is based on learning how to walk with the poor in humble relationships, rather than empowering temporary handouts to them. The easiest thing to do is give handouts instead we must symbolize and get to the root of the cause. We are all broken in a relationship with God, and we all need a Savior. For those who live in poverty, feel inferior and shame, one of the biggest ways to help them is by empowering them to earn significant material things through their own power. This helps them move towards who God made them to be. There is much more information in this book, Toxic Charity, by Robert Lupton. It is important that we not only help those in poverty by helping them eliminate poverty, but building relationships with them. Many times we help those in need, we are only doing it to make ourselves feel better. Mission trips, going on the other side of town, are many times to make us feel better instead. We need to bring about change. Lupton says a better system would be empowering them in building businesses, building homes, and building communities. We don't want to make the dependent people, but we want to make them independent. This brings me to my conclusion. It is very important when we are working with those in poverty that we have an understanding of poverty. They think different than the middle class people. We must know how many times we think we are helping them, but we are really hurting them. Lastly, it is important to build relationship. Robert Lupton says the theory is best case scenario is to have a presence in their neighborhoods. As believers, it is important that we help those in need and not make ourselves feel better. Be a part of something bigger than yourself and bring hope to those who do not have any hope. Thank you.